Welcome back to V2K Photography. Sony A7C. When everyone was actually waiting for the A7 IV announcement, Sony surprised us with the A7C camera. This camera may look really tiny and not even a serious camera, but looks can be deceptive because this camera is a tiny little beast for what it's worth. Alright, let's unbox the A7C. Opening the box, we have a 3-year warranty information, more instructions, warranty card, power adapter, power cord, NPZ battery, strap, 28 to 60 f4 5.6 kit lens, and the A7C body itself. The A7C essentially has the same sensor as the A7 III, which is 24.2 megapixels Exmor BSI sensor supported by the Bionz X processor. Those rubber, flimsy, dangling flaps are now gone. All the ports and card doors are now door-like structures, which is much more organized and looks much more professional, and also it's much easier to use. It doesn't come in the way for the work I do. All these ports are now clearly visible, and it's really lovely. And also, the microphone jack is placed on the top, so when you have the screen rotating, it doesn't stop. Okay, the microphone jack does not stop you from rotating the screen towards you. That's really well thought out. So now we have the screen that flips out and turns forward. That's the vari-angle screen. So people like me who make their own videos, we need this screen badly. Absolutely, this is a must-have because it makes our lives so easier. So we can keep track of what we are recording. We can know the current status of the camera. So all this stuff. So that's very, very important. And this camera holds it so well. For professional use, I prefer cameras that has a deeper grip and a little bit bulkier and better ergonomics and all those stuff. But not all cameras need to be that way because if I'm just traveling, taking pictures of my friends, family, at a vacation or a party, I don't want heavy cameras. I don't want to look like a professional photographer there. All I need is this kind of compact form factor. That's really lovely with this camera. The A7C has 3 custom settings now on the top tile, and switching between the photo and video mode is now just a single turn away, then crossing all the custom settings on the top tile. All the custom buttons are now gone. We just have one custom button. That's like stripping away functionality. The touchscreen is still very limited. Sony has the technology. We have seen the A7S III, but we still have this touchscreen from the A7 III, which is only usable for focus shifts or just focus touchscreen. That's all. It's very, very restrictive. You can't use the touchscreen for anything else. Disabling the full-time touchscreen is not great, especially for this camera, because this camera is aimed at vloggers and content creators. Let's say we are vlogging and I need to change a setting right now, maybe white balance or something of the sort. Now I need to turn the camera around and flip the screen back and then fiddle around with the buttons and all those stuff. But if I had the fully functional touchscreen, I can just go ahead and change the settings that I want here. If not, I need to fiddle around with the buttons here. When the camera is facing you, everything is now reversed. The muscle memory will just tease you like anything. So that is a hardship. So we would love to have a fully functional touchscreen like this and just change the functionality or change the settings to whatever you want. That is cumbersome now. Menu system is still the old A7 III's menu system. Pass. I've never been a fan of the rangefinder viewfinders. If the viewfinder is not in the same axis that of the lens, I can't take pictures. I can't use it. Maybe that's just me, but I would always prefer the viewfinder to be on the same axis as sort of the lens. The resolution of this viewfinder is still the same as the A7 III, which is quite low, and the magnification is also pretty low, much lower than the A7 III. The Sony A7 III only has a single card slot. We cannot avail the dual recording, backing up, proxy recording features from the other Sony bodies. Autofocus in this camera is dead on. Okay, it is rock solid. No matter what settings you have, no matter what focus area you have, wide, zone, center, or extendable, whatever that is, all these focus modes are absolutely brilliant. It just sticks to the subject like anything. It just sticks to the subject. Unless the subject is like too small in the frame, the autofocus is completely reliable. The eye autofocus, some say the camera hunts the eyes like a bloodhound, and it's truly like that. The eye autofocus is rock solid. It just hunts the eye no matter where you are. It's so reliable. It's a joy to use this camera when it comes to autofocus. The camera is capable of shooting 10 photos per second, and the buffer is also really good. It can hold up to 115 raw images and 220-ish JPEG images, I think. So that is a really deep buffer for this camera, because this camera is not aimed at professional photographers. It's for content creators and vloggers. But Sony did not hold back anything when it comes to the buffer or the autofocus performance. Maybe this is the base standard for all Sony cameras. The dynamic range, this is something that just blew my mind. Highlight recovery, you can recover up to 2 stops. When it comes to the shadow recovery, it goes on up to 5 stops, 5 full stops, and you still get a usable image. Of course, the 5th stop pulling back images just usable, but still you get something back and it's still usable. The A7C can record 4K up to 30p. And Full HD up to 120p. Quite the same as the A7 III with the same bitrate and all those stuff. The camera significantly heats up, but it did not die on me, not even once. I did not see the overheating warning at all. Factory settings, no overheating warning. That is brilliant. And we don't have any recording limit. That is also extraordinary. We can choose the speed that you want. You can choose the autofocus speed and sensitivity settings, and the camera obeys really well. Log profiles, like any other Sony cameras, you can still shoot in hybrid log gamma, S-Log2, S-Log3, but I would stay put with hybrid log gamma when you need the extra dynamic range, because S-Log2 and S-Log3 you can still only shoot in 8-bit, and when it comes to 8-bit S-Log3 or S-Log2, it's quite brittle. You can't just push too much. So I think shooting in HLG is a good option, or just picture profile off also gives you really good images. If you don't have access to a gimbal, it's okay. Just shoot handheld and you can still make amazing stabilization in the post using Sony's Catalyst Browse software. The stabilization looks wonderful for a handheld video. Yes, there is a slight crop based on how bad the shake is, but if you use wide-angle lenses, the stabilization is brilliant. Who is this camera aimed at? Vloggers and content creators. Can you use this camera in a professional environment? Yes, you can. Of course you can. But the thing is, this camera is not aimed at that segment of photographers, and having a smaller body may not be ideal for some high pressure situations like weddings. If you want to keep a light form factor, compact size, this camera is great. This camera due to its weight, is amazing for gimbal work as well. The single card slot is a calculated risk you must be willing to take. Apart from that, the low light performance is excellent, the dynamic range is brilliant, the autofocus is, you know how good it is. This camera is a great contender. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye bye.